of advice do you have to homeowners?
Practicing that preparedness, starting the conversation now is always going to be a benefit to any association out there.
And welcome to Recovery Report Live. I'm Dan Odess, president of GlobalPro, where we manage your risk to recovery, and we manage more than $1 billion of that recovery. Before we get into the broadcast of our show, again, want to express my condolences. My heartfelt prayers and thoughts are with the community of Champlain South Tower. It's a grave situation. The information continues to unfold. And now they're doubling up on efforts. We do have some activity in the tropics. So, again, our thoughts, our prayers are there with the community, with that association, and all of their unit owners and tenants, and everyone affected, the family, the friends. We want to make sure that you know that GlobalPro stands with you. We are doing our part. We are going to continue to do our part. We have donated money. We have donated additional resources to the first responders. We will be and continue to collect clothing, furniture, shoes. A lot of information is going to be coming out of that. Those are listening in now. Look for that. We are going to continue to do our part, and we hope all of you do your part to help our community rebound from this. Nothing we can do to make up for the loss of life, but we certainly can help those victims, those family members that have been, directly impacted by this, and helping them through this situation. It's really tough. For those associations that did hear about the recent order by Miami-Dade, and then several other jurisdictions followed suit with regards to doing audits on particular types of buildings. We're not sure exactly what that actually means, who will be doing it, what you'll have to do in the event of that audit, or the outcome of that audit. What are you going to have, what does it actually mean? But the reality is that being proactive is always the best way to be resilient, the best recipe for sustainability, financially, structurally, whatever it may be. It is absolutely essential, particularly for these buildings. These are large infrastructure. There's so many services that an association provides to its unit owners, and it's important that they are properly managed. It is important that their board members stay engaged, as well as their unit owners. A lot of issues that we see is that unit owners are only involved when things are not good or not right. It's important to always stay engaged. We're going to talk later in our broadcast with a guest that has a technology that makes that easier. I mean, it makes you, right there at the fingertips, you have access to all that information. And I'm excited that they'll be joining us again to talk. And we're going to have the other co-founder to join us to talk about that and what they're doing to help our community, particularly in the wake of this collapse, this tragic event. It's heartbreaking. But as you did hear me mention, the tropics are alive. They are very active. We have multiple areas of interest. Just as it seems as if they dissipate and we're out in the clear, more pop up. And I think when we wake up tomorrow, there's going to be even more news about it. So keep your eye on the tropics. Make sure that you stay vigilant in your preparations. Part of that preparation and thinking about Champlain and some of the investigation that's going into has brought up a lot of conversations about insurance. What does this mean for insurance? How's the insurance market going to change? Well, let's take a little step back and actually look at how you may be able to use insurance for damage to your building, falling concrete, infrastructure issues. When you're doing those inspections, whether it be for engineers and just doing a typical inspection or for 40-year recertification, and you find falling or collapsed concrete or issues structurally with your property, it's your first notice of it. Make sure that you take that opportunity to contact us, let us know about the situation. There may be an opportunity for you to recover for those damages, for at least some of them, to offset the ultimate cost of it. The problem with these 40-year recertifications, and why a lot of boards end up kicking the can, and why we see a lot of delays in the reconstruction, rebuilding, is because of money. The other association has no cash on hand. They're afraid of special assessments. The board ran on this idea of saving money, and now all of a sudden they're going to cost unit owners money, so they're going to get recalled. They're going to lose that position. They can't even get financing because you have high delinquencies. You have an issue with fixed income with your residents who can't even afford to pay more money. The thought of having to special assess them tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix these things is very difficult, and it's not as easy as just saying, hey, we need to take care of this now. And a lot of associations are scrambling, running around. They have the notice of the 40-year cert. Social media, it's all over the place. All these cracking and everything. Anyone that's seeing, suddenly you're seeing how bad some of these buildings are and the condition that they're in. And so a lot of boards are immediately are scrambling to take steps to doing it. They have no plan in place. They didn't budget for it. They haven't special assessed. They haven't actually gotten any bids or estimates or put together the protocols. Take this time to do those things. Take the time to do these things now, because you might have that opportunity, and utilizing insurance to either offset or cover those costs or expenses. Just depends on the situation and the circumstances surrounding it. But the quick and easy way to find out is to contact us. Let us know what we can do to help you. Let's look at your insurance policy. Let's look at your renewals. Let's look at possible appraisal we're done. Let's look at the engineering reports that you may have obtained. If you haven't gotten the engineering reports, let us be a part of that discussion and make sure the words and terms used in those engineering reports help you in a situation if you do have a recoverable loss. We have done it for associations. We have, where garages have collapsed, where pools have collapsed, where we've seen large buildings for businesses have collapsed. We have seen this situation. We've recovered tens of millions of dollars for our clients for damage to their infrastructure. It is, in part, at times, recoverable. You just need to make sure that you're doing things in an appropriate manner in the way in which to actually get a recovery. So let us know, be proactive. If there's any questions or concerns you might have, we stand ready to be able to respond to those things. And part of that process is getting information. And there's a lot of discussion about getting unit owners involved in the process and getting information from them and helping be your eyes and ears as board members and as managers. But collecting and categorizing and responding to information is difficult. But there's technology out there that's actually can help you, right? There's a organization, Owner App, which offers a technology platform that in around 2015-16, when legislation was changing, they were trying to attack one issue, which led to many issues that they realized that they offer an answer for, or offer a solution for, or give you the answer to your problems. Let's say it that way. And these two gentlemen got together, co-founded this app, Owner App, which now is a leader in the industry in providing associations with a means for communication and also a voting tool and many other things. But without further ado, I do want to bring on our next guest, Alan, co-founder with Owner App. Thank you so much, Alan, for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
A lot of information I know I covered right there in the monologue, and talking about various different issues, from the activity in the tropics to the issues at Champlain South Tower, talking about unit owners being eyes and ears. Let's talk about Owner App and its role it plays. But before we get there, actually, I want to just refresh our audience, for those that didn't tune into our last broadcast. Let's talk a little bit about Owner App. What is it? Who are your clients? And talk about a little about the core values of the company and the mission you guys have.
Absolutely. So again, thanks for having me. And first thing I'd like to say is I'd like to echo your comments. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims at Surfside. It definitely hit home. We have a lot of people that we service very close to that area, a lot of people that we know on the personal level as well. And we are very much hopeful that the first responders will be very successful at their mission right now. Talk to you a little bit about Owners. So Owners started a few years back, 2015, and we were addressing the online voting problem, or rather the online voting challenge. Florida statute changed, allowing for associations to enable online voting. And the biggest reason for that was the lack of engagement that the communities have. You have to understand the way that these associations work is there's a very small group of folks, of residents and owners, that control some very important decisions, which is the board of directors. And historically, the turnout for these votes were very, very low. So that's why Florida enabled online voting. We jumped on the opportunity to help out. We are very much prone to democracy. That's one of our core values. We were looking to engage people in all different levels. And when we saw this, we jumped on the opportunity to provide assistance to these associations. Our program, our app has evolved. Our company has evolved over the last few years. Today, we consider ourselves the only community management app. So there's a few property management software. We go beyond that. It's really about enabling the management, the board, and the residents to coexist in a single platform and be able to work as a group. Currently, we are servicing about 150 associations in the state of Florida, including many neighbors of Champlain South Towers.
Now, all great information. I mean, you hit on some things there, right? You're a management app, right? It goes beyond just voting. That's where it started. You guys are actually doing something special right now and trying to help our community. Tell us a little bit about what are you doing for community associations in the wake of Champlain South Tower collapse? How is Owner App helping our community?
Absolutely. So, like I said, this really hit home for us, and we want to make sure that we provide our tools and our platform to anyone that needs this right now. Right now, we're not worried about selling. We're actually giving away our platform for free for the rest of the year to any association that is coming up on their 40-year recertification process and could leverage our tool to be able to streamline that process. Associations will have the option of either taking our software for free for the rest of the year or paying their regular subscription, which is $1,500 a year, which will be donated directly to the victims of the terrible tragedy we just witnessed.
Awesome stuff. We always love to align ourselves with organizations that put community first, and obviously we're in business to make money, but we understand the importance of community, and we understand about the importance of being there, helping our communities, particularly dealing with major disasters. And this certainly goes to the top of those that certainly in South Florida, impacting it. I could never imagine something as I go in and out of these buildings all the time. I was in several this week that are older, aging buildings. I would never think that something like this could ever be possible, and it's awesome, and I definitely applaud your guys' efforts in trying to get out there and to help the associations. Now, one of the questions I had just yesterday, I was on a panel discussion, and we're talking with an attorney. We had an incredible audience. We had way over 100 people tune into this to this panel to talk about this, and one of the advice is that you should encourage your unit owners to report issues in your buildings. How does Owner App? The first thing, but let me say this: the first thing I thought was, man, I'm having all the guys on Owner App on. I'm sure they have a solution for this. So we have let's say we have 100 plus unit owners in there. They have husbands, wives, kids, everything else. They're all seeing this stuff. Everyone's got a cell phone in their hand. Now, how do you manage? Now, obviously, everyone's going to be on high alert, right? So the amount of information and the reporting of issues is going to be, stratospheric compared to where it was before this happened. How can Owner App help manage that situation?
And so that's a great question. Prior to this, what we've seen is one of the biggest challenges associations have, to your point, is that the folks weren't too engaged. Now we have the opposite problem. Folks are extremely engaged, over-engaged. We like to provide a platform for them to be able to submit that feedback and submit those service requests. One of the challenges we've seen in communities is folks going to social media, posting these things. We've seen pictures of buildings cracking all over the place. Unfortunately, that makes a lot of noise. It goes to deaf ears. There's no one following up on your social media post. We have a centralized way for people to submit service requests. They can take pictures, they can take videos, and the most important thing is they can actually track and make sure that the management and the board are following up on these items. So what we like to say is we like to enable and empower the residents and owners to work on behalf of the community and not against the community in this case.
Awesome, and I think that's important to understand. It's like, again, this isn't about voting, right? This isn't, this is a management software. This is a tool that's accessible to you. You have a 40-year-old building, it's free. Give it a shot. Download the app, give it a test drive. I know your team, and I know that they're more than willing to come out and demonstrate its use, and the training, I've witnessed it personally, is incredible. So I encourage our listening audience to, give it a shot, check it out, go to the website, download the app. It's pretty seamless, it's easy to use. I know that you guys had a whole educational process for senior living as well, and some of the hurdles and explanations about how to use it. Really, really important. You guys are addressing an issue with regards to special assessments. There's been obviously a lot of discussion about the cost of the repairs. You heard me mention it earlier on in the monologue about that being one of the hurdles. And then I learned that you're actually, is it true, you're processing payments through the app?
So that's correct, and I'm glad you bring that up. So one thing is the board and the association deciding that they want to push forward with these projects and these renovations. And of course, everyone is going to be extra encouraged to move quickly on these projects. The reality is most folks or some folks in the community might not be able to pony up the money up front. They might not be in a financial position either because they're on a fixed income or something along those lines where they struggle to be able to make these payments. We're actually processing payments through our platform, both via ACH from your bank account, but more importantly, via credit card. So you can actually pay for your special assessment leveraging your own personal financing, which again, we're looking to provide that in support to those folks that really want to do their part, but unfortunately are not in a position just to be able to pay these things up front.
And I honestly think for most associations that probably may have shied away from new technology because of the learning curve, the hassle of doing it, the training, everything else. I mean, it almost seems essential at this point in order to mitigate the wasted time if you don't have something like this, a tool to use to collect special assessments and votes and unit owner complaints and catalog them, do all this stuff. It almost seems really at this point, in light of Champlain South Tower collapse, that I think the time invested now, how much time it's going to save your management staff and your board and your other unit owners in making decisions. And particularly, we have the threat of a hurricane, right? And decisions are going to need to be made when that hurricane hits this area about doing repairs and reporting claims and information about those claims and units that are available. People always want to come back to the building like immediately after it, despite the fact that they probably shouldn't. And so recovery hours, it's a means to communicate. And this is not a rolling advertisement for OwnerApp. I have no vested interest in it. I just, in light of Champlain South Tower, I'm a big proponent of technology. I believe with proper training and the proper, obviously, forward-facing app that actually logically makes sense, is laid out properly and used, there's a lot of benefits that can grow from it and save you a lot of time and money and energy on the back end. So really, really encourage all of our listening audience to go check it out, download the app. But what are some of the biggest challenges for OwnerApp right now in the current market?
So one of the biggest challenges we had until very recently was owner apathy. The reality is that if folks don't want to be engaged, a community engagement platform doesn't have as much value for that community. We're starting to see that, like I said at the beginning of this meeting with you, change dramatically. That being said, and something that is really important is that even though associations want to move quickly on some of these items, you can't throw protocol out the window.
Yep.
Right? This is still an association. There's still a process to be followed. There's still rules and regulations and policy. We have a 100% compliant platform to be able to streamline and accelerate these processes while still remaining within the law. And that's something that is really important. So you mentioned that, for example, voting. We've seen associations that have decided to waive reserves for many years that are starting to reconsider that. Those have very high thresholds of votes. In many cases, 2/3 or even more of the building have to participate. It's going to be really hard to do that via paper only. Communications, you mentioned it as well. So we've seen managers all over the place sending emails, text messages, WhatsApp, just all over the place. This is a centralized platform. You can reach out to all of your owners. They can receive it via text, email, whatever their preference is, but everything is centralized. So for us, and our biggest challenge was historically owner apathy. Now we're starting to see that it's changing dramatically.
No, I'd imagine, like I said, the adoption of new technology seems scary to some people. And I think, sometimes there's something that actually sparks people's interest, and right now is the time to consider the use of technology so that you can keep your unit owners informed, and also keep your association in compliance. I mean, there's laws and obligations that go just beyond just voting and things like that. That I know you guys are building into that platform to try to help these associations. What's the future for OwnerApp? What does it have in store for it?
So we will continue to evolve as a company. We will continue to integrate additional digital services for the associations. Something we've come to realize is that your association experience when it comes to the digital process is broken. You have one website to do this, you have one web page to do that, you have one app to vote, you have one app to communicate. We're bringing everything together. So over the next few weeks and months, we're going to be releasing more and more features, allowing associations to have one central place to give your residents the entire experience. So packages, receiving visitor management. Visitor management became very important as well in the light of Champlain South. They were struggling to see how many people were in there, right? And making sure we have tabs on that. Obviously streamlining the communications even better. And we have a few more cool features we'll be rolling out by the next quarter or so. Our idea and our vision is that we can provide a single platform for the owners and residents. And in the back, very simply and very transparently for the owners and residents, connect the best of breed technology for every digital service that they need.
And if you're not in the tech space, building a platform like this, it may seem, it's logical, it's simple, it makes sense. Trying to be a robust platform like that has a tremendous amount of challenges. And you have to be thinking about so many things as you're doing it and building and developing it. So I applaud all of your efforts. And I really am grateful for you guys, taking the time to join us again to talk about this. Really wanted to bring you on when we heard about the whole, offering that you have to the associations. We think it's very important. We want to make sure that our audience and our clients are aware of it. We want them to use this, leverage this opportunity, and give it a shot. Go test drive it. So, and for the listening audience and our clients, how can they find out more about Owner App? Where do you go to download it?
So the best place to start is ownerapp.com. That's ONRAPP.com. We have landing pages designed for every type of persona that you could be dealing with. So we have a property management page, we have a board member page, resident page. So please go there, start there. Our apps are available in the App Store as well, just by searching for ONR app, both in iOS and Android. So we can very easily be reached.
All right, well, great, man. Hey, Alan, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure to be joined by you. I got to talk with Carlos a little bit as well. Really understand what you guys are doing. I'm really impressed with it. I think you're doing a great thing for the community. I look forward to having you guys on in the future, and wish you the best of luck with your endeavors. And again, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Yeah, so thanks for having me one more time. I wish to join you again, hopefully in happier times in the future as well. And yes, we're very much looking forward to partnering up with what you guys do. We're also big fans. And of course, associations could really leverage your services nowadays. So thanks for that.
Well, thanks again, guys. Well, you heard it from Alan. There is, again, this community is stepping up. There's companies and organizations like Alan's that are trying to do their part. I mean, you have a technology company literally thinking about ways that they can help our community in dealing with the fallout of this collapse. I mean, it's really important that you keep track of these things, whether you're a community association or business owner, that you take this opportunity to look at your processes, look at what you're doing, and are you in compliance? Are you doing as much as you can for your community, for your business, as you could or should be doing, or required to do by law? And I think that's something really cool about the Owner app, where they're looking at the laws. They're making sure that they're going to assist you with it. Well, they're not your legal counsel, obviously, but your legal counsel can be involved in the decision-making process, can have access to information just like your unit owners. I mean, this is great stuff. This is technology that's available to you, low cost of entry. If you're over 40 years, like you heard him say, it's free. Give it a shot, give it a test drive, see what it can do for you. Well, as you've been hearing pretty much every single day, every single broadcast, every Thursday of this year, we continue to count down for 10 years. And what makes these broadcasts that much more special in our history is that we're talking about real issues here. We're giving you real actionable information that you can use, especially in light of the tragic events that have occurred. We want to make sure that obviously our community knows that we are doing our part. We are involved. We are doing what we can to assist and help by providing you access to information like this, talking about important topics that are relevant to you as community associations or those that own and operate commercial properties. Commercial properties require the same 40-year recertification process. It may not be exactly the same, but it's similar, and it operates in the same context. It's to make sure that these buildings are safe. It's to make sure that your infrastructure is providing the service it was intended, and making sure that you're keeping up on those things for the life and health and safety of not only its occupants, but also the public. So we are going to continue to deliver this information. We're going to continue to count down to 10 years. We're going to make sure that you have all the information you can use as business owners, community associations, or high net worth individuals. And I hope you join us again next Thursday, and continue to join us by hitting that subscribe button, like us on Facebook, Instagram, follow us. Make sure you have all the information you can use, and go check out our website, getglobalpro.com. We're about to release another claims advocate. The memo is released on the issues regarding insurance and policyholders, so we want to make sure you have that as well. We want to make sure that you're kept aware of that. Before this issue, this tragedy occurred, there was a lot of conversation about the insurance market and the recent legislation changes. Some of those actually impact this claim, the claims that are being made here. And there's been a lot of discussion about that, where I think it's going to be a wake-up call to legislation, where they thought they were protecting the interest of policyholders, and really they were doing a disservice to many policyholders by requiring instant reporting on certain issues and getting your assessments done. It's, in situations like this, it's near impossible. And it just really highlights how this legislative session, some of the bills and laws that got passed, just do absolutely nothing to assist policyholders. In fact, it was all proffered as a way to save money on insurance. That didn't happen, right? So we need to look closely at these issues. We need to continue monitoring this stuff. So continue to tune in. We'll see you next week on the Recovery Report Live.